Discover how a rural girl's touch transformed an unemotional CEO in 30 life-changing days. Jack sat high above the streets of Manhattan, his office a cold sanctuary of glass and steel. The city pulsed below like an engine, each beep of a taxi and the chatter of pedestrians reminding him of a world he had long since abandoned. At 45, he had built himself into a titan of industry, yet every accolade and bonus felt like an empty transaction. He was a man entangled in the ruthless ballet of corporate warfare, hands shaking while making emotionally detached decisions that left his family on the back burner, ice cold against love's warm flame. Thoughts of his wife and children felt like distant echoes, haunting reminders that he had sacrificed his heart for the corporate ladder. Meanwhile, in Shady Grove, a sleepy town miles away, Mia struggled with the weight of the world on her shoulders. At just 19, she was raising her younger siblings after the gut-wrenching loss of their mother. Every day, she balanced school and chores while teaching resilience over despair, drawing strength from the simple love of family and community that anchored her. Life in Shady Grove was tough but rich with connection, woven with the golden threads of neighborly kindness and unwavering support. Mia often clung to her mother's wisdom, embodying the values of warmth and compassion with every smile she shared. That all changed when an invitation arrived, a community program dubbed Bridging the Divide aimed to connect rural kids with urban professionals. The thought of stepping foot in the concrete jungle thrilled Mia. Sensing adventure, she seized the opportunity that flew across her life like a butterfly against the drab backdrop of her hometown. In New York, the chaos enveloped her like a whirlwind. The blare of sirens blended with the drumming of hurried footsteps. Men in suits rushed past, eyes glued to their phones. Heat rose in her chest, but she pushed forward, radiating hope. It was in an elevator, cramped between crisp suits and polished shoes, that she met Jack. At first glance, he was just another businessman lost to the grind, his expression void of emotion. But when their eyes locked, something shifted. Jack felt a stir, like a forgotten impulse awakening in the crevices of his heart. Mia's unguarded sincerity struck him, her warmth felt like sunlight piercing through a gloomy day, igniting a mysterious longing he'd buried under layers of ambition. Jack's colleagues noticed the change, whispers filled the boardroom. "What's with Jack?" one asked, eyebrows raised like rooftops. "He's not himself," another murmured, tone dripping with skepticism. Jack faltered, struggling to reconcile the vulnerability of connection with the rigid armor of his career. Each interaction with Mia nudged at the very foundation of his identity, testing the limits of who he had become. The stakes rose like an unrelenting tide, and as corporate sabotage loomed ever closer, so too did the fragile threads of his personal life. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Pressure built inside Jack as days passed, memories of lost moments cascading like a waterfall he couldn't quite catch. Just when it seemed everything would collapse, Mia revealed her hidden struggles, her mother's absence stark against her dreams. It tore through Jack like lightning, fueling his reflection on purpose. Could he trap himself in cold success, or dare to step into chaos and messiness for something real? The answer shimmered just on the horizon, flickering between duty and desire. As they leaned in, unsure but eager, the question loomed: could Jack break the cycle of isolation and choose family over his corporate image? The buzzing of the city continued outside, filled with the dated rhythm of life that Jack had shut out for so long. Yet now, with every passing day, he felt that buzz pulling him closer to a realization he could no longer ignore. Mia's laughter echoed in his mind, her stories painting vivid images of childhood simplicity and vibrant connection. It was more than just the thrill of her adventurous spirit, it was a soft reminder of everything he'd abandoned in pursuit of success. "Jack, you've been awfully quiet," Amanda, his assistant, prodded gently, tilting her head. Her brow furrowed with concern, noting the absent gaze fixed out of the window. "Is something bothering you?" The question lingered in the air, hovering like the dust motes illuminated by the harsh sunlight. Jack clenched his jaw, resisting the urge to spill the tangled mess of feelings building up inside him. Instead, he forced a smile, though it felt foreign on his face. "Just thinking," he mentioned, his voice barely above a whisper. Amanda nodded, not fully convinced but respecting his privacy. The office filled with the sound of tapping keyboards and muffled phone calls, but Jack's mind was elsewhere, drifting toward Mia and her stories of home. Each evening he spent with her felt like a glimpse into a world he had once known, where laughter and joy thrived amidst everyday challenges. Time blurred as the days passed. Jack looked forward to his sessions with Mia, discovering more about her unwavering spirit. She spoke candidly about how she managed everything, pulling from well of courage despite the heavy clouds hanging over her head. "I have to keep moving for them," she had said, her voice steady. "My siblings count on me. I can't let them feel lost." Jack listened, absorbing her resilience. It wasn't just her words, it was how her eyes sparkled with determination, igniting something within him that had long been dormant. It struck him forcefully. While he had built an empire, Mia was constructing a family. Then one afternoon, after a successful meeting, Jack found himself staring at the big glass building from his window, his gaze softer and more distant than usual. The city felt less oppressive and more alive with possibilities. He picked up his phone, hesitating for just a moment before sending a simple text to Mia. "Want to join me for dinner? There's something I'd like to talk about." Seconds stretched like hours while he waited. Just as doubt crept in, his phone buzzed with her reply, a swift burst of joy that quickened his heartbeat. "I'd love to." Later that evening, they met at a cozy bistro, the warm light bustling around them like the hum of a lively market. As they settled into the rich aromas of food and laughter, Jack felt the heavy mask he had worn for so long begin to lift. They shared stories under the golden light, and Jack opened up little by little about his frustrations and fears in the corporate world. Mia leaned in, genuine interest lighting her features. "Why do you care so much about what others think?" she asked, her voice gentle yet piercing. "At the end of the day, it's your life." Her question hung in the air, forcing him to confront the truth. Was his identity wrapped in the approval of those around him? For the first time, the walls he had built began to crack. Mia's frankness challenged him, and curiosity flickered in Jack's chest. What if he could let go? What if he chose authenticity over image? Just then, amidst the glow of transformation, his phone buzzed again, a notification that sent a chill down his spine. An email marked urgent from his company appeared, a reminder of the impending corporate storm waiting outside his new world of warmth and truth. Jack glanced at Mia across the table, a mix of determination and fear shadowing his face. The choice lay heavy in the air. Would he go back to the life that had hollowed him out, or could he find a way to embrace both worlds? As uncertainty swirled between them, he realized that his journey was just beginning, and he couldn't run back to the shackles of his old life. With Mia beside him, his heart raced toward uncharted territories, poised for decisions that would redefine everything. Could they navigate this storm together, or would the ties of duty pull him away from the light she had ignited? Jack's hand trembled slightly as he put the phone down. The urgent email loomed in his mind, demanding attention at the worst possible moment. He looked back at Mia, her face alive with unmistakable warmth and determination. A single thought raced through his mind: could he really step away from it all? "Everything okay?" she asked, concern softening her features. The sincerity in her eyes reminded him of what was at stake. "Yeah," he replied, forcing a casual tone, "just work stuff." Mia nodded but didn't press further, letting her gaze wander around the bistro, absorbing the laughter and joy of the other diners. Jack wished he could soak in that lightness too, but the weight of corporate expectations hung over him like a storm cloud. "I know work can be demanding," she finally said, her voice gentle, "but you don't have to carry that burden alone. You're more than just a title, Jack." Her words cut deeper than he anticipated. Yes, more than just a title. A simple truth that sent ripples through his heart. He had been so caught up in the grind, He'd forgotten that was not all he was. But how to redefine him? The tension in his belly twisted tighter. They exchanged stories again, but this time, Jack felt a fracture within him. He eagerly listened to Mia speak about her siblings, her laughter rising and falling like a sweet melody. The man who sat in front of her wasn't just an unfeeling CEO but someone yearning for connection, yet wrapped in layers of self-imposed distance. As the night deepened, he gathered the courage to unearth his worries. Mia, if I choose to step away from this corporate world, what will that mean for my life? And for you? A question, heavy with hope and fear. Mia paused, searching his eyes deeply. It means you'd be prioritizing who you truly are, not who others expect you to be. You'd be free to define your own success, Jack. What does that look like? He opened his mouth, then closed it again, struggling to formulate an answer. What did that success look like without the shiny facade of corporate accolades? I've built everything around this identity. Is it an identity you're proud of? She interrupted softly, her question pierced through him. Wasn't he proud of the sacrifices he'd made or the connections he'd lost? Just as he began to piece together an answer, flashes of notifications from work flooded through his mind, a reminder of the corporate responsibilities waiting for him. He cleared his throat, the realities of life pulling at the rim of his thoughts. I feel like I'd be betraying everything I've worked for, or maybe, Mia suggested, leaning closer, you'd finally be giving yourself a chance to work towards what you've always wanted but didn't know how to chase. You won't know until you try, Jack. Her voice was filled with unyielding conviction. The passionate words clung to the air around them. They stirred something within him, igniting sparks of hope he hadn't dared believe could exist. Just then, his phone buzzed again, another urgent email lighting up the screen. But this time, as he picked it up, a sense of calm washed over him. Beneath the anxiety was a flicker of adventure, the promise that maybe he could change the way he viewed life completely. But could he really take that leap, or was it just daydreaming, a flight of fancy to escape from the weight of duty? As the bistro buzzed on around them, a sudden uncertainty flicked back in his mind. Was he ready to break free and pursue authenticity, or was he bound to the fear of letting go? As the moment stretched on, Jack found himself wondering about the path ahead. Could he really take the very first step towards a new life, one that perhaps included Mia alongside him? The choice stood brightly, yet hauntingly, in front of him. The question loomed larger in his heart: what would he be willing to risk for true freedom? Jack's heart raced as he stared at the phone, its glow casting a blue hue on his face. The emails from work screamed responsibilities louder than ever, a cacophony of expectations that threatened to drown out Mia's reassuring words. He exhaled slowly, letting the tension escape with every breath. Look, I can't keep hiding behind my job, Mia, he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. It feels like a prison sometimes, even though I built the walls myself. Mia's expression softened. You built those walls to protect yourself, Jack. But it's time to decide, do you want to live in a prison or embrace the freedom that's out there? The determination in her eyes ignited a flicker of courage deep within him. What was life beyond the boardroom? He needed to find out. But just as resolve began to swell, doubt crept back in. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? You won't know unless you try, Mia said firmly. Her voice was that of a steadier soul, one who had faced uncertainty and emerged glowing. What if this is the chance to reclaim your happiness? He looked down at the table, the pristine white cloth and half-finished coffee cup surrounded by carefree laughter. The contrast was jarring. He longed to laugh and revel in joy, but everything felt entangled in a knot of obligation and fear. They sat in silence, the ambient noise of the bistro swirling around them, and Jack felt both comforted and overwhelmed. What if I took a break? The words tumbled out of him, a thought that had danced just beneath the surface. Mia leaned forward. What does that look like for you? Travel, maybe. Something that lets me breathe again. A chance to explore who I am outside of that office. He could almost see at the beach, the mountains, the open road unrolling before him like a promise. Adventure. I'd love to travel with you. There's so much to see and feel, she said, her excitement contagious. It was bold, uncharted territory, and it sent a thrill through him. The idea of exploring the world, and more importantly, sharing it with her, ignited a spark that had long been dormant inside. But where do we start? It all feels overwhelming, Jack confessed, the fear still nibbling at the edges of his confidence. Let's make a plan. There's always a way. Baby steps are still steps. What have you always wanted to do? You don't have to quit everything overnight. Just, what's one small thing you can do this week? He grabbed her hands, feeling the warmth radiate from her touch. I can tell my team I need to take a short leave. Just a week to recalibrate. That'd be a start, right? The mere idea made him feel lighter. Yes. It's the first step, Jack. Mia squeezed back softly, and he couldn't help but smile. But as that smile spread across his face, the nagging thought of the office crept back in. Would they even allow him to take the time off? What if they didn't take him seriously? Mia, what if they resist? What if they think I'm abandoning them? Then, you remind them that a leader is someone who embraces vulnerability and knows when to recharge, she said passionately. It's about inspiration, not just authority. Jack acknowledged her words, a stirring deep within him. As they sat in the warmth of the bistro, he knew this was more than just a meal. It was the beginning of something transformative. Mia looked at him with a mix of encouragement and challenge. Are you ready to risk it all for the chance at something better? For the hope of authenticity? Her gaze bore into him, echoing through the walls he had so carefully built. And the magnitude of the decision settled within him like cement, solidifying with every second. He took a breath, finally allowing himself to dream again. The next move felt monumental. As he prepared to rise and face the world outside, Jack knew that even if he stumbled, as long as Mia was beside him, he wouldn't really be alone. But the looming office still beckoned, weighed down by years of ingrained expectations. And as he stood on the edge of this newfound hope, the most pressing question felt more urgent than ever. Would he find the courage to speak up and embrace the change he needed, or would fear hold him back once more? Jack's hand trembled slightly as he reached for the door of his office the next morning. The familiar scent of old coffee and paper greeted him, but today it felt different. Heavy. He inhaled deeply, reminding himself of the promise he made to Mia, the shift he planned to embrace. Today was the day he would take that first step. His team was already gathered around the conference table, chatter mixing with the low hum of the overhead lights. They looked up as he entered, a mix of concern and curiosity etched on their faces. Jack sighed, preparing for the battle ahead. Hey everyone, he said, surprising himself with the steadiness of his voice. I need to talk to you about something important. As he took a seat at the head of the table, he focused on each face, searching for understanding. I've been feeling stuck, he continued, an unexpected wave of vulnerability washing over him. And I think it's time for a change. The room fell silent. Reactive glances darted between his team members, each processing what they had just heard. Are you okay, Jack? Sarah, one of his junior analysts, asked tentatively, her brows furrowed with concern. I'm fine. I'm taking a week off. A break to recalibrate my thoughts and figure out how to better lead you all, he declared, realizing as he said it how liberating the words felt. Really? A whole week? Tim, his second in command, sounded skeptical. What will we do without you here? Jack paused, heart racing. You all are fully capable. I trust you to keep things running. It's time for me to step back and focus on, well, myself, I guess. There was a moment of hesitation, uncertainty hanging in the air until finally, Tim nodded. If that's what you need, Jack. We'll manage. As if someone had flipped a switch, supportive whispers bubbled up among the team. Jack felt a current of warmth spread through him, dousing the anxiety that had clouded him since he made the decision. Maybe this wasn't as big a leap as he thought. After the meeting, Jack began to gather his things, excitement intertwining with apprehension. He stashed his laptop in its case, glancing once more around the office that had felt like a shackle for so long. The rhythmic tapping of keyboards, the murmur of strategizing voices, they would continue, just as Mia had said. Just as he was about to step out, he received a text from Mia, "So proud of you. Can't wait to hear how it went. Free for lunch?" Jack smiled, his heart lightening at her enthusiasm. "Sure thing. Let us celebrate." The thought of sharing this newfound freedom with her filled him with a hopeful thrill, but as he took off, the weight of the unknown loomed ahead. What would the week hold? Would he truly discover who he was outside the confines of office walls? As he drove through the familiar streets, he felt a sense of urgency pulsing within him. There was so much to explore, so much to experience. But a flicker of doubt crossed his mind. What if he forgot how to enjoy life? What if he was too far gone in his routines to rediscover joy? He shook his head, dismissing the fear. Little did he know, the true adventure was just beginning. With every mile he drove, possibilities expanded like the horizon before him. And as he turned onto a road he had never traveled, one into the unknown, he couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary was waiting just beyond the next bend. Could this week truly change everything, or was it just another illusion on the path to authentic living? As Jack rolled down the window, fresh air rushed in, filling the car with the scent of blooming wildflowers. Each breath felt more invigorating than the last, pushing the weight of his doubts further away. His mind flickered to Mia's unwavering support. She believed in him, and that alone gave him the courage to break free from his predictability. He turned the radio on, letting soft acoustic melodies wash over him. The music had a way of making everything feel possible. With each passing block, the urban landscape transformed into stretches of green and golden fields. He drove without a destination, curious about where this road might lead him. Eventually, he pulled into a small diner. Its charm was undeniable, with a neon sign flickering above and an old-fashioned jukebox playing familiar tunes inside. Jack stepped into the cozy atmosphere, the bell above the door jingling as he entered. The place was sprinkled with a few locals, and the smell of fresh pie wafting through the air drew him toward the counter. "First time here?" The waitress flashed a warm smile. Her name tag read Lily. "Yeah, I guess I'm just looking for a little adventure," Jack replied, the confession slipping easily from his lips. He could hardly recognize the man speaking. Who was he, this guy looking for adventure? Lily chuckled, pouring him a cup of coffee. "Well, you've come to the right place. The blueberry pie here is legendary. Can I get you a slice?" Jack nodded, feeling a delicious little thrill at the prospect of trying something new. It was just pie, yet it felt significant, like a step into uncharted territory. He took a moment to appreciate the simple pleasure of the moment, the chatter of patrons, the clinking of utensils, the warmth of the diner enveloping him. As he savored the slice of pie, the flavors burst in his mouth, a euphoric contrast to the blandness of his usual corporate lunches. He marveled at how such a small indulgence could awaken his senses, igniting something inside him that had long been dormant. It wasn't just the pie, it was the realization that life was ripe with tiny joys waiting to be tasted. His thoughts turned to Mia and how she would have loved this moment. He could imagine her laughter, the twinkling excitement in her eyes as they would share stories over a slice. Then he felt a pang of longing. He missed those effortless connections with her and with himself. Suddenly, inspiration struck him. Maybe his week away wasn't just about finding his footing again, but also about reconnecting with the people who mattered most. He picked up his phone, hesitating for just a moment before hitting call. "Hey, Mia," he said when she answered, his voice brimming with eagerness. "I'm at this diner, and it's amazing. You've got to come see it with me. Let's turn this week into a little adventure together." "Really? I'm in," she exclaimed, her excitement palpable even through the phone. After they hung up, Jack buzzed with energy. It felt good to embrace spontaneity. He could hardly wait to share this newfound approach to life with her. He stepped back into the car, ready to drive back, ready to invite Mia into this week of adventure. As he pulled away, he understood that change wasn't just about solitude, it was also about connection, laughter, and the sweetness of shared moments, but as he drove, anticipation surged through him, conflicting thoughts battling in his mind. Could he really open up again? Would the week with Mia challenge him in ways he hadn't prepared for? In the distance, storm clouds gathered, darkening the horizon. Just like the change he was seeking, they held both promise and uncertainty. And as the first drops of rain began to splatter against the windshield, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the true test of his journey was about to begin. Would he face the storm, or would it wash away his plans? Driving back toward the diner, the rain began to fall harder. The droplets fell like tiny drums against the windshield, steady and relentless. Jack wiped his hands on his jeans, the nervous energy bubbling in his chest. He was excited, yes, but the closer he got to Mia, the more doubts crept in. What if she didn't find him adventurous enough? What if she sensed how scared he felt about being truly vulnerable again? As he pulled into the parking lot, he spotted her waiting under the diner's awning. Mia's soaked hair clung to her face, and she was laughing, oblivious to the rain. The sight of her lit something in Jack's heart. It felt like sunlight breaking through the clouds, energizing and warming him that he jumped out of the car, splashing through puddles to get to her. "Hey! I didn't think you'd brave the storm." "Oh, come on. A little rain never hurt anyone," she chirped, her spirit brightening the gloomy day. They hugged, and Jack felt the familiar sense of comfort wash over him. It was easy to forget the doubts when he held her close. Inside the diner, they slid into a booth, the warmth wrapping around them like a snug blanket. Jack glanced at Mia as she scanned the menu, her eyes sparkling with excitement. There was something refreshingly genuine about her. She had a way of making the ordinary feel extraordinary. "So, what do you think? Are you up for some blueberry pie?" he asked, feeling a flutter of anticipation. "Absolutely. And maybe a burger, too? I'm starving." They ordered, and the time flew by. They were caught up in easy laughter and shared stories, the conversation flowing effortlessly. Stories of childhood adventures, secrets, and dreams began to fill the space between them, replacing the tension that had knotted in Jack's stomach, but as they chatted, Jack's heart began to weigh with more than just nostalgia. He realized he couldn't hide behind easy laughter forever. He felt the urge to share his fears, the struggles he had faced in his corporate life, the isolation, the relentless expectations. It was time to let Mia in. "Mia, can I tell you something?" The words came out almost like a confession. "I've really been feeling lost lately. Like I've been running away from being vulnerable, from being me." He looked into her eyes, searching for understanding. She paused, her expression softening. "You don't have to pretend with me, Jack. I want to know you, the real you." Those simple words hit him hard. The fear of not being enough melted away. He could be himself. He nodded slowly, breathing deeply as he prepared to let down the walls he had built around his heart. Jack opened up about the suffocating structure of his daily life, the weight of ambition that felt more like a chain than a blessing. A few moments passed in silence after he finished speaking, the gravity of his words hanging in the air. Mia reached across the booth, her hand resting gently on his. "You're not alone in this. Not anymore." In that moment, Jack felt a lightness he hadn't experienced in years. Maybe this week would be about more than just adventures. It would be about rediscovering who he was alongside someone who believed in him. Outside, the storm was raging, but inside, a new storm was brewing, one of courage and connection. As their meals arrived, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. They had shifted something inside each other. But would the rain wash away this newfound courage just as quickly as it had come? He glanced at the diner window, watching the rain pour down as if waiting for the thunder to strike next. With Mia by his side, he felt ready for whatever might come next. But deep down, he wondered, was he truly ready to embrace what lay ahead, or would the clouds of his past continue to loom over him? The diner was alive with sounds: the sizzling of the grill, the clattering of plates, and the occasional laughter drifting from a nearby table. Jack glanced around, feeling both comforted and overwhelmed. Here he was, surrounded by people, yet he felt most connected to the woman sitting across from him. She was noticeably vibrant, an undeniable force of energy that seemed to illuminate the shadowy corners of his heart. Mia cleared her plate, a satisfied grin plastered on her face. "I know we came for the pie, but I can't believe I finished that burger." "So worth it," she said, her voice bright against the backdrop of the diner. Jack couldn't help but smile back. "I'm glad you enjoyed it. A good burger is hard to resist." He couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was something special, a pivotal shift in his life. As he watched her talk, the worries that had clouded his mind began to clear. He thought about his corporate world of spreadsheets and meetings, the tedious routine that had stifled his spirit. He realized he was ready to step outside that life, to embrace a change that had been simmering beneath the surface for too long. As his blueberry pie arrived, glistening and warm, so did a wave of curiosity. "So, Mia," he ventured, "what do you really want out of life? Beyond good pies and rain adventures?" Mia paused, her gaze softening as she searched her own thoughts. "Honestly, I want to feel alive. I want to explore the world, connect with people, and not be afraid of the messy parts of life. I think there's so much more to experience than what we limit ourselves to." Her words struck a chord deep within him. The whispers of his own dreams floated back, trapped under layers of fear and self-doubt. "I get that," he admitted, his heart racing at the vulnerability he was displaying. "I've spent so much time chasing success, but I wonder if I've missed out on really living." Their eyes locked, and for a split second, the noise around them faded. It was as if the world had paused, allowing them to exist in a bubble of mutual understanding. "We can't be afraid to chase what we truly want," Mia said firmly, her passion igniting a spark inside him. The conversation shifted as they shared their bucket lists, things they hoped to do, places they dreamed of visiting. It felt like a cathartic release, each word lifting burdens they hadn't even realized they carried. Jack discovered the thrill of possibilities he had locked away for too long. "When I was a kid, I always dreamt of traveling to Italy," Jack shared, excitement creeping into his voice. "To see the art, the culture. But it seems so far away now." "Why wait?" Mia said, her eyes gleaming. "Let us make it happen. You can start with stepping out of your comfort zone. You've already begun, just by being here with me." He laughed, somehow both terrified and exhilarated by her boldness. "Okay, what's next, then?" "We'll need a plan. Let us take it one day at a time," she replied, leaning in closer with an enticing grin. "How about we make it a week of adventures? Little things, like hikes, trying new restaurants, and flying to Italy." He added jokingly, but it ignited something in both of them. "Why not? Let us dream big." Jack felt a rush of energy surge through him. The anger and frustration he had felt just days ago faded in the face of this emerging friendship, this connection that tangled them together. As their plates were cleared and the waitress brought the check, Jack felt a surge of hope. Their fearless banter had woven a new fabric of ambition and joy, each thread binding him a little tighter to Mia. But as they stood up to leave, reality pressed back down, the looming responsibilities waiting outside, truths about him he hadn't yet shared. Jack looked out into the downpour, his chest tightening. Could he truly embrace this change? Or was he just setting himself up for pain? When the rain finally lifted, Mia nudged him playfully, her laughter ringing through the diner. "Are you ready? The storm isn't going to stop us." With her hand in his, both of their worlds open and raw, he nodded. "Yeah, let us go." They stepped outside into the downpour, drenched but undeniably alive, but in that moment, under the darkened sky, Jack couldn't shake the question: what if this adventure unraveled everything he thought he knew about himself? The rain poured down like a curtain, each drop hitting the pavement with a rhythm that matched Jack's pulsing heart. The cool air felt electric against his skin, a sharp contrast to the warmth radiating from Mia's hand clasped in his. This wasn't just rain, it was transformation, washing away the detritus of his past and presenting him with an exhilarating future. Mia began to run, laughter bubbling up as she splashed through puddles, her hair cascading like wild vines in the storm. Jack hesitated for a moment, a part of him still tethered to the safety of routine. But the sunlight in her laughter drew him forward, and he found himself sprinting behind her, their giggles slicing through the drum of the rain. "Come on. You can escape the office for one night," she called, her voice bright and carefree. Each step drew him further away from his worries and deeper into an adventure he hadn't known he craved. They zigzagged through the streets, Mia twirling under the lampposts as if she could dance with the rain itself. Jack couldn't remember the last time he had felt so free. He chased her, and for a moment, the weight of corporate pressures, deadlines, and the stale boardroom air faded to a distant memory. "Where to next?" he shouted, breathless, as they skidded to a halt in front of a cozy little cafe, its neon sign flickering cheerfully amidst the downpour. "Hot chocolate. We need to warm up," Mia said, pulling him inside. Stepping inside felt like entering a different world. The rich scent of cocoa filled the air, accompanied by the soft hum of chatter. They found a corner table, the window fogged from the warmth inside and the cold rain outside. As they settled into their seats, Jack couldn't help but notice how Mia seemed to draw the warmth out of everything around her. They ordered steaming mugs, and the first sip was heavenly. "See? This is just the beginning," Mia said, her eyes sparkling. "Imagine all the little things we could experience together." Jack nodded, but beneath that excitement lingered a shadow of fear. "What if I can't keep up? I have responsibilities. I can't just drop everything for an adventure." Mia leaned closer, genuine concern etching her features. "You've spent so long in that corporate world, building walls around yourself. But what if letting those walls down allows you to discover who you really are? You might find that life without those limits is where you truly belong." Her words hit him hard, forcing a confrontation with the truths he buried deep. The long hours, the missed connections with friends, the intimacy he sacrificed for success. "I want to believe that," he said quietly, stirring his drink as if searching for answers in the swirling foam. "But what if I take this leap and fall flat on my face? Then I'll be right there to help you up," Mia said, her voice unwavering. "Sometimes, the fall leads to the most beautiful discoveries." Jack felt his heart swell. Her boldness was infectious, her belief in him restructuring the very foundation of his doubts. "You make it sound easy," he replied, but a smile broke through. "Well, maybe not easy, but definitely worth it." She picked up her mug. "To new adventures." "To new adventures," he echoed, clinking his mug against hers. The warmth of the drink spread through him, igniting an ember of courage. There was something undeniably magnetic about Mia, and it felt as if she were inviting him to dive into the unknown, to shed the layers of his carefully constructed identity. As they laughed, shared stories, and leaned into each other's dreams, Jack caught a glimpse of a truth he had evaded for too long. He was standing on the precipice of something profound. But just as he started to feel the excitement rising within him, a sudden thought crept in. What if I dive in and discover something I can't handle, something that changes everything? The moment lingered, charged with unspoken possibilities. "Hey," Mia said suddenly, breaking the silence, her voice low. "What do you think would happen if you really let go? Imagine letting the world show you where to go next." He looked at her, unsure if he was ready but intrigued by the possibilities she painted. "I don't know. Then we'll figure it out together," she said, her smile infectious. With the rain still pouring outside, Jack felt the weight of anticipation settle in his chest. They both knew the next step wouldn't be simple. But for the first time in ages, he could feel the thrill of uncertainty and the promise of change wrapping around him like the warm woolen blanket of adventure, and as their eyes met again, he knew one thing: this was only the beginning, and despite the challenges that loomed ahead, this journey could lead him to an unexpected truth and a deeper connection he couldn't yet grasp. But just as hope soared, a shadow flickered in Jack's mind. What if he had miscalculated everything? Would embracing Mia's world only drown him deeper into uncertainty? Days rolled on, the remnants of storm clouds fading into the bright blues of an open sky. Jack and Mia had transformed their week into a whirlwind of exploration, each day bursting with laughter, new experiences, and, above all, connection. Together, they hiked scenic paths that seemed to stretch endlessly, tried local eateries that tantalized their taste buds, and even got lost in vibrant art galleries that ignited Jack's passion for life. The walls Jack had built slowly crumbled away, revealing a classroom of authenticity that was so liberating. "Jack! Check this out." Mia's call brought him back to the moment, as she pointed towards a street artist crafting a mosaic out of colorful tiles. Each piece was unique yet worked in harmony to create a stunning image. Just like their lives, a blend of different colors and experiences to make something beautiful. "You see that?" she exclaimed, eyes twinkling. "That's what life is about. Every experience is a piece of the mosaic. You just have to find the right place to put them." He watched her, awash in the vibrancy of her vision. It seemed to ignite the flames of something deeper inside him, realization flushing through him that he had been missing out on so much more than simply concrete achievements. "You're right," he said, feeling the truth of her words settle like a warm embrace in his heart. With her encouragement, Jack eagerly shared his own pieces while they sat in bustling cafes or on sun-drenched benches. He delved into what he wanted from life and his dreams of travel and connection. Each laugh, each story helped him become more unapologetically himself. No longer weighed down by the clutches of corporate life, layers of emotional armor fell away until he felt light as air, a man resurrected from the ashes of stoicism, but beneath the surface of joy, shadows still tiptoed around the edges of Jack's heart. The thought of returning to work loomed ever present, responsibilities awaited like a corporation ready to snatch him back into the dark abyss of soul-draining routine. One afternoon, gripping the warmth of their coffee mugs, Jack turned to Mia. "What happens when this week ends?" The tremor in his voice did not escape her notice. Mia's eyes softened with empathetic understanding. "Then we make every moment count. You've already decided to prioritize your happiness. Why stop at just a week?" Her words cascaded into his mind, forming the foundation of newfound courage. "But they expect me back to business as usual, right? What if I falter?" He mused, his reactions flooding back. "Jack," she leaned closer, "you can't let fear dictate your potential. Just because the corporate world has a rhythm doesn't mean you have to dance to it forever." Her voice encapsulated warmth and fiery determination. "You felt alive out here, promise yourself you'll carry that into wherever you go." He swallowed hard, her words ringing like bells in his mind. Could he? Could he truly redefine his path? Days passed into the weekend, a bright Sunday morning heralding transformation. The air felt fresh, vibrant, bursting with possibility. Jack took in a deep breath, studiously combing through his thoughts. It was in that moment that something clicked. Confidence, clarity, and courage converged as his heart raced toward the unknown. "I'm going to tell them I'm taking a sabbatical," he finally declared, determination spilling from his lips. The weight that had burdened him in the days before began to melt. "I need this time to find out who I really am, the real Jack, not just the employee." Mia's face lit up with pride, her eyes radiating joy. "Yes. Do it. You got this." That same excitement coursed through Jack, spurring him into motion. He dialed into the familiar murmur of the office, heart racing as he prepared to breach the topic. The moment his boss's voice greeted him, it was as if the decision had already been made but never verbalized. He knew he had to jump over the abyss of doubt. Upon connecting with his boss, Jack spoke with refreshing honesty. "Hi, I need to talk about something important. I'm going to take a sabbatical for personal reasons to recalibrate." Silence enveloped the conversation, tension thick in the air. "A sabbatical? Jack, this is completely unexpected." As his boss continued, Jack felt a rush of power surging through him. There were whispers of uncertainty, caution, and the ever-present fear of company repercussions. But he remained focused, driven, and determined. I understand your concerns, he countered respectfully, but I can assure you this would allow me to return even stronger. With each passing exchange, Jack felt liberated, on the verge of breaking free. Soon, the atmosphere shifted, welcoming acceptance. The conversation turned into a constructive discussion about transition plans and delegated responsibilities, a healthy exchange that made Jack realize that connection was everywhere, even within a corporate structure. When he finally hung up, a cascade of relief washed over him, rendering an exhilarating sense of freedom. Mia was there, a soft hand on his arm and a sparkle in her eye. You did it. Know that this is only the beginning. You set yourself free. They wandered, laughter bubbling around them as they celebrated the potential that stretched ahead. Days turned into weeks filled with exploration, weekends spent hiking trails, wandering small towns, sharing their dreams and goals. Jack began to run workshops in communities, inviting others to find legs of courage, igniting a light similar to the one Mia had given him. When the vibrant mural was complete, Mia stepped back, her artistic hand guiding Jack's "Welcome to your new adventure." Jack stepped away to gaze at the works of art they created, vibrant colors tubed into an awe-inspiring mural reflecting connection and togetherness. In those strokes, he uncovered belonging, freedom, and purpose. Their hands entwined, Jack saw not only sunlight in Mia's laughter but reflected hope for a future that had felt so distant before. In that moment, he realized, true success was not merely titles or accolades acquired along the corporate ladder. It mirrored the love forged with family, community, and with oneself. With a heart full of gratitude and excitement for the marvelous adventures ahead, Jack smiled, taking in this moment of transformation a testament to courage, choice, and the unlocking of his true self. To embrace vulnerability and authenticity had been the best leap of faith he could imagine. All that truly mattered was the journey, and Mia was there beside him, a loving reminder of all that life could be. And as for Jack, he had not only embraced change, he became a vibrant part of a new, expansive world painted in the rich hues of experience, connection, and love. Now more than ever, it's your moment to join in. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss these exclusive transformations. Leave a like now to feed this algorithm that brings these inspiring stories to you. Comment below with your feelings about Jack and Mia's journey. And you need to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who could use a reminder of transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support.